Yeah. I was actually talking to
yeah.
a friend yesterday who's blissfully ignorant, but now I have to conclude she's actually knowingly blissfully ignorant because she was telling me, "Oh, the elections aren't rigged. Come on." So I started, slapping her with some common sense and some facts, and all of a sudden she's like, "All right, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anymore. I can't take it." So that's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
With most people, that's really what it is. It's not that they
don't
suspect.
Don't upset my bubble here. Don't burst my bubble. Let me live in my. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Shameful stuff. One of the worst parts about this is that some of these people that don't know what's coming or are not prepared for it, they're gonna just suffer in ways that you can't describe. I mean, we're not talking about a 1930s type of failure. That was kind of a regional thing. It happened in the Anglo countries. England had problems. There was some problems in France, and Germany, of course, had some problems. But the fact of the matter is, it was not a problem that was not manageable. Every country that had this implosion managed it well. This next implosion is not going to be that kind of implosion. This is going to be something quite different, something quite dastardly and terrible, because back in the 30s, most people had their own gardens. They knew how to fix things. They were capable humans. Today, people are not capable of many things. Half of them can't screw in a light bulb. I mean, it's terrible. And so when it comes time for them to be creative about survival, they don't have the background, the skills, or even the capacity emotionally to take on these kinds of challenges. They're not prepared.
No.
And this is something that is going to spell disaster for these families and these individuals. And, I feel horrible about it. I have people within my own family that are in this category, and you don't. What do you say to them? I mean, you can try to tell them something, but most of them don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear the truth about a lot of things. The dumbing down is so complete.
I don't know when the date will be, but I have a guess for you. I will give it to you. I believe we're going to see the real fireworks start in the autumn. The fiscal year for the United States is in October. The rest of the world is not going to allow America to borrow any more money, and the Fed's money borrowing, which they're underwriting all of it, is becoming less and less valued in the world. Everyone knows that. It's just it's like me writing myself my own check and then going out and spending it. And I mean, that's ridiculous. It doesn't work. But by October, when the new fiscal year comes in, there's just the rest of the world's just going to shut the door on any more nonsense. But they've got their own nonsense. The Europeans have their own problem. I'll tell you this one. Back in 2000, the debt for the Chinese was $2 trillion. They were in debt $2 trillion dollars in value. And today, you got to guess how much money they are in debt for?
Oh, I can imagine.
$25 trillion.
25 trillion. You can't even wrap your head around on a figure like that. It's just like the bailout. How many trillions of dollars? Nobody even knows anymore. It's probably upwards.
Well, we got
40.
16 we can identify in America, and then there's probably another 8 or 10 that are under the radar.
Yeah.
So we're talking 25 trillion for the Americans too.
Yeah.
Now,
you can't
trillion,
even fathom.
I mean, that's 1,000 billion, so that's 15,000 billion. I mean, $25,000 billion. You look at that. If you wrote that number down, it would make you pee your pants, man. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
This is just unbelievable. And you could go to Mars and back if you put dollars end to end.
Yeah.
And then probably end up in Mercury if you wanted to. I just, oh boy. And nobody has the capacity, fiscally or productive-wise, to do anything about that. So we're going to have a reset. Now, the reset is going to take some time. A lot of people think it's going to have a gold back to it of some sort. I believe they're probably going to do something like that, and it's probably going to come from the Russians and the Chinese, which it's their century now. You know, the Americans had their century last century, and now it's been taken away from them. The new century is going to be for India, China, and Russia. That's where the new and the countries that, you know, Kyrgyzstan and so forth. They're going to do well, all of them.
Yeah.
And on top of it, they're really resource rich. All of them have oil and minerals. You know, there's over $1 trillion worth of minerals in Afghanistan that can be extracted.
They're done using us. They've gutted us out. We're pretty much ready to collapse. That house that's been eaten out by termites, you know, it looks good, but it's ready to fall at any given moment. And they're going to move on to the next parasite now. I mean, the next
That's
host.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they did that. Well, they've done that in the past. I mean, when they were done with Spain, they moved to Holland. When they were done with Holland, they moved to Britain. When they're done with Britain, they moved to America. They're done with America, they're going to India.
Yeah.
And funniest thing, India and China, but more India. There's a book on my website called The Jews of China. And when you find out that Mao Zedong had all of his advisors were Jewish.
Yeah.
And you know, he's the one who convinced the Americans to finance the Pol Pot regime so that they could genocide people, and they used Cambodia as an experiment. What kind of monsters experiment with genocide? These people do. They're sociopaths, and most of the Zionists are sociopaths. This is something that, and you know, you cannot negotiate with a sociopath.
No.
They're beyond. They won't even acknowledge in any substantive way that what they're doing has a monstrous and an evil.
No conscience whatsoever. Not even the semblance of one. Yeah.
So, I mean, I
mind blowing.
It is mine. It's actually terrible. So, how long? And I have great sympathy for the people that are what they're going to face worldwide. This is something my heart is just sick with. I started this fight 14 years ago because I just couldn't believe that my world was going to do this, was going to go in this direction. And in fact, it has gone and gotten worse than I even imagined. So it's going to be a rough ride coming up. I want everybody to be sure to start the preparations they need to do. And that would include having silver to use in the marketplace, and having a good supply of lead to throw at people whenever they need to throw it at them.
Yeah,
and
things are happening at a much more rapid pace than I imagined. Yeah.
Well, it's probably going to get very angry in many countries, and I think America's probably going to be the angriest one. And there's going to be no-go zones all over the country, and if you live in any of those no-go zones, you better be prepared to put your fists up and get your Glock out, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll happen here in France, but because the people here don't have the same level of poverty. Be honest with you, the poverty level is much lower here in France than in America. I think it's going to be just everyone will do what they're told, and we'll see this equipment driving by that I talked about with the armament on it and the 60 caliber on the top, and we'll just do we'll do what we're told to do here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way it is. I mean, or they'll just shoot you. I mean, and I think things are going to, they're going to have what they call soup populaire. That's what they had back in the 30s. It's going to be going every day for a handout of bread and a bowl of soup.
That's what we're coming to. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we're at the top of the hour. I'm going to use it to take a short.
Sure.
I'm going to take a short break, use the bathroom, and I will call you back in 5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Perfect.